Hello there, English speakers. You remember the banya tree, the tree in Australia that has cones that can weigh 10 kilos, huge things, bigger than my head. But these are way smaller cones. And this is, of course, a black elder. We'll talk about trains, apparently. Steel train, very much noisy, especially if they are empty. We'll talk about reactions to Jewish behavior, which are good. But let's start by taking a big, deep judo breath. Judo and karate, apparently. They are fighting here. So we got a lot of Epstein files and court documents, etc. That are heavily redacted. So that was useless. We did get some fun photos though. For example, we have an image here of Chomsky, Noam Chomsky. So he was discussing linguistics with a world-renowned linguistic savant, and you know him is very famous. He's actually the most famous linguistic in the world, even more famous than Noam Chomsky, and you know him as Jeffrey Epstein. You read his wonderfully phrased and perfectly punctuated emails that you saw from Jeffrey Epstein. So no wonder that Chomsky, of course, had no interest in anything else that Jeffrey Epstein did. They only discussed linguistics together on their frequent flights. Trump bombed ISIS. So here you will get surprised, I think. So first of all, ISIS, that is Netanyahu's private army, it might be. So if Trump actually is telling the truth, either Trump could be lying or Trump could have been lied for. But if they really are bombing ISIS, that's mean against Netanyahu. Because, well, ISIS never attacks anything under control of Netanyahu. What would, for example, this Miriam Adelson, she has promised $250 million to Trump for Trump to run a third semester, because Jeffrey Epstein's dear friend Alan Dershowitz, he is what expert on the other thing, lawyering or the Constitution, and Alan Dershowitz might be able, he said to Miriam, so that she can spend a lot of money on Trump for his third term. So what does Miriam Adelson think about Netanyahu? You might not know this. They hate each other totally and fully. So Miriam Adelson and her husband, they supported Netanyahu in 1996, and then it got worse and worse. In the end of the 2010s, there was something called Case 2000, and it was Netanyahu conspiring to weaken their newspaper, Israel Nayom. So that's the Israel Nayom is the name of the newspaper that is pro right-wing Israeli politics, basically. And, well, Netanyahu was doing evil stuff, she thinks, against him. She still supports the policies of Netanyahu with, you know, Jewish supremacy and no negotiations and no two states and Greater Israel, maybe. So, still interesting. And she also said that Sarah Sarah Netanyahu, his gnome, the wife to Netanyahu, she called Sarah hostile and abusive. So if you did not worship Sarah enough, she will blame you for aiding Iran in an attack. So if you are not totally obedient to this bitch, then you are basically Iran. So that's interesting. So after 2019, they have not been close to each other at all. They never invite each other on any kind of event, Netanyahu and Miriam Adelson. So that's interesting, and I think if Trump want to get rid of Netanyahu, he has someone who will help him with that, or many actually. I guess there are a couple of billion people that will support getting rid of Netanyahu. The problem is what comes after, as we saw in Syria. But this bombing of ISIS, that was done totally according to Trump. But it was done with the so-called consent of the government of Syria, but likely not approved by Netanyahu, one can assume. 1984, James Miller had the same take as I had, that George Orwell was basically doing persuasion. I did not pronounce that wrong. Persuasion. So that's a book and a general expression that you start your preparation, you do some preemptive framing. So you make movies and stuff, or you train people to act in a specific way with some games, or, well, just handing them warm mug to hold on for a while, and then you sort of program them to react in the same way when you are doing your actual persuasion. So if you have a book like 1984 that it basically contains instructions on how you can build a horrible society that, of course, some people find heaven because they worship Satan. So one example that you can use is, for example, Israel. They have done thousands of false flags. You have, for example, King David's bombings, where they dressed up as Arabs and they got caught, so the false flag failed. The bombing didn't fail, but they showed their true colors. And in 2001, on October the 11th, so that was 1 month after 9/11, some Israelis with Pakistani passports, they tried to blow up the Congress in Mexico. And this has been memory hold, but they got caught. So yes, the Jewish terrorists, Zionist terrorists to be specific, wanted to blow up Mexico and blame it on Muslims from Pakistan. So if you wonder about any other terrorist attack, yeah, you know whom to blame this time. You can reverse Alzheimer's. I've talked about this before, but I didn't find so much useful information in it. It's from the well-known Midwestern doctor. There was a study though that was very specific. They tried this MCT oil. So this is from coconuts, but they refine it and it becomes a very expensive oil, or special kind of fats that are very good for you, apparently, they say. And it costs like $50 per kilo, so it's not as cheap as, well, coconut fat or just any oil, even expensive pure olive oil. Be careful when you buy olive oil, by the way. Most of it is more or less fake. Even the farmers themselves often cheat and pouring some other oils in their oil, some cheap industrial oils. But this MCT, they gave Alzheimer's patients 42 grams per day. So that is like $2 per day. So pretty expensive, but not as expensive as medicines, of course. They should have tested eggs also. 2 eggs per day, maybe combine them. And you might actually reverse a little bit, or at least stop the deterioration of Alzheimer's, according to this study. There was some other study that they used. You have to read up exactly what they gave for different kinds of food and stuff to people. But that's complicated. But I've linked to the article that now got republished on Zero Hedge. It's also on his Substack, of course, a Midwestern doctor. Candace Owens said a lot of really explosive stuff for the zeitgeist, and she was lashing out at black people that they need to learn the true history of slavery, and all that slave traders were Jewish and most of the slave owners. She also attacked white people that get tricked into die in the Second World War that ended with the Morgenthau Plan and other genocides of white men and women and children. She started the program by bashing Ben Shapiro. I didn't listen to that because I don't need any more reasons to hate that total toxic garbage piece of, a lot of bad words. But no surprise that Candace Owens have bad things to say about him and his mentality that everyone should behave like his slave, basically, and he will just buy them out, and he will conspire and talk behind your back and attack you if you are not obeying. So Megyn Kelly, the Zionist that sometimes says good things, for example about Ben Shapiro, and with good things I don't mean good things about Ben Shapiro, but good that she said it. They are absolutely, definitely not friends anymore, and she's very happy about that because he's a lying piece of garbage. And she said that he has no right and he can just piss off. Ben Shapiro has no right to say that she should disavow Tucker Carlson. So she still likes Tucker Carlson, regardless of what Ben Shapiro says, or maybe even the opposite. And the red-headed libertarian, I did not know that she was a host on Timcast, Tim Pool's podcast. But she is. I do like her. She has never said anything that is, that I don't like, for example, Tim Pool does all the time. He has lost his mind. But the redhead libertarian, she said, as an answer to Ben Shapiro said that people who believe in conspiracies, they are bad people, basically. And she listed a lot of the proven conspiracies that especially had happened in USA. So she dissed him. And one other dear friend to Jeffrey Epstein, Steve Bannon, he calls Ben Shapiro a cancer. Ben Shapiro is loved by exactly no one. How he still can have money to buy well, others. That's weird. Naomi Seibt. She said something stupid. Not according to me, of course, but that she made a mistake, I think. Or let me explain it. She said that people should read Mein Kampf. And she did that to seem like she was above sort of she's totally not a Nazi, and she can read that and understand the other side. That was kind of what she meant. Should we read something in Mein Kampf? I have a page that talks about feminism and how the Jewish culture have destroyed for the family by pushing this toxic feminism, just like, for example, Candace Owens said. She also criticized the Jewish culture destruction with feminism. She promoted actually her book as an antidote to Jewish feminist propaganda. And she also criticized the gangster culture that is also Jewish. So good. Hitler and Candace Owens that say the same things. I do not think that Naomi's friends, so-called friends, actually they see themselves as owners, just like Candace Owens explains. But Naomi Seibt has connections in PragerU. I don't know how much, but she is around a lot of Jewish supremacists. And they do not want you to read Mein Kampf. They will plant Mein Kampf among the dead children in Gaza and Lebanon and say, look here, you have a Mein Kampf, so that's why we can murder children. So yeah, they really, really don't want you to take Naomi Seibt's advice and read this book. Antisemitism, no, not the demonic term, but their account. They are against that, of course. They make up stuff about the Bundy shooting at the Bundy beach. They do that because they have the same kind of behavior that was described in Mein Kampf. And the Western society has now been so corrupted by the Jews, and the economy is going to hell because of the Jews and the financialization that was also described in Mein Kampf. And the immigration, by the way, on the same page that I have on my Substack. But the parasites, they are now thinking that, yeah, maybe we have destroyed the West too much, and as they don't defend themselves anymore, so that we can't suck any more blood from it, it's time to move to Asia, they think. Don't let them in there, Asians. And another Jewish supremacist says that Israelis are worth 1,027 times more than the Palestinians, because they exchanged that many hostages for one hostages. And this is how they see everyone else. You are slaves and they are worth more than you, and maybe there should be less free people of them allowed to behave like this. I took a look at Instagram, where you have a lot of leftist Swedes that are posting memes, so-called memes or images. These are people who can't really write at all or think. They just want to give you an emotion. So we have a party leader for the Sweden Democrats that is Zionist garbage and not Swedish at all. Well, they are Swedish, but not Sweden Democrats. One can argue and criticize them in all sorts of ways, but you can also be very leftist. So they said that the party leader, Jimmy Åkesson, he has missed 92% of all the voting. So he, and then they want to convey to you that he has a very high salary, not that high actually, but high, very high. I would be, for a normal person, they are not that rich in the Swedish government, but still 92%, and he is away from work that much, so why doesn't he get fired? Well, he wasn't on the beach and golfing or something when he was not pressing a button in the parliament. He was doing other work. So this is the most useless criticism you can have. But if you are not afraid to lose your mind, take a look at Instagram and some leftist so-called memes that are just retarded, but they might actually work for some people, which is the scary part, and see if we can learn something from that. And another meme that I got is about the Swedish anti-immigrants. All they include the current government that actually Sweden is now paying a fee to European Union for not taking in refugees. So that's retarded. But at least they stop the mass immigration a little bit. And this meme is about Jesus and his parents, and then the Sweden Democrats and the government of Sweden, they are saying that no, we don't want some sort of Middle Eastern family. What could they do in Sweden? According to the Pharisees, Jesus is a convicted criminal. And of course, these leftist people, they think that we should take in a convicted, not yet convicted, but baby Jesus should we take in so that he can, they thought they made a good point there. There's no good points in anything, except I have a test for you. So you have different circles where you have a number written, and if you, for example, can't see one number, that shows that you have too high blood sugar, and if you can't see number 5, then you might have a really big problem and you might get kidney stones. So drink your beer if you don't want to get kidney stones. That was not advice. That was a joke. But with that joke, see you again tomorrow on a spiritual Sunday.